instead of Hollywood revenue, let's talk about the revenue of someone else. Elon motherfucking Musk, the smartest billionaire, the greatest billionaire. Oh, God, he's so good. He's so brave. Guess what? Elon Musk, if you guys recall, was forced by a commerce court in Delaware to actually purchase Twitter. He didn't want to purchase Twitter. He claimed he wanted to purchase it for a meme at a laughably high price. But then he wanted to back out, and it didn't work out, and he ended up having to purchase the goddamn company, and now he's out $44 billion. Now, of course, because he is the smartest, sexiest, most intelligent billionaire in a sea of other billionaires, or at least that's what their fanboys are telling me, I expected Elon to immediately yield tremendous returns on his investment of $44 billion. Except, no, that's not what happened. Oh, no. Twitter's advertising revenue has halved since Elon Musk took over.
Elon Musk has revealed that it's lost more than half of its advertising revenue since he bought the platform last October. Twitter currently has around $13 billion worth of debt, which is due to be repaid by the end of July. It's also facing rising competition from Threads, which launched earlier this month and now has 150 million users. Michelle, Musk can be remarkably candid at times, can't he? How serious is this loss of ad revenue, do you think?
Well, I think what we're seeing here is a sort of casting of doubt on a statement he made to the BBC, to one of my colleagues earlier this year, in which he said that most of the advertisers had returned to the company after he'd purchased it. That perhaps may not be so true if this kind of loss of revenue on that kind of scale is indeed happening. And it poses a problem for him because this deal cost him $13 billion in debt. He has to keep financing that. And so, as he said in a tweet, over the weekend, they don't have the luxury to focus on anything else but getting cash flow. We've seen past attempts trying to monetize on the idea of people buying blue ticks. But the problem is there hasn't been enough of that, it hasn't generated enough revenue.
An example of a great interaction between brands, McDonald's and Axe. Oh, God, it's so funny. It's so funny, man. Look, he's trying to glaze up as many people as he possibly can. Like every corporate advertiser, he's like, oh, it's great. It's so great. Please stay here. Biden's social media team got community notes nuked twice today. Same happens to me. Right-wing accounts and even advertisers. Latter not good for revenue. Sigh. Super close to realizing that a fact-checking system ran exclusively by disgruntled ex-Redditors isn't actually a good idea. I think it's great. I think it has been a tremendous improvement. It's probably the only good thing about Twitter has been the community notes. Not gonna lie. I'm a fan. It's probably the only good thing he's brought up. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Let's cover his losses, and then afterwards we'll bring in, a big business expert. Obviously, I am a fucking dumb socialist, commie, grifter, hypocrite living in a fucking $7 gazillion mansion in West Hollywood. Instead, what do I know about business? I know nothing. Instead, we need to bring in a big, brave, bold, beautiful capitalist who's never actually succumbed to NFTs or any sort of grifts, like real grifts. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V is, of course, who I'm referencing. We're gonna go to him in a second.
But Meta trying to eat Twitter's lunch, launching its own version of Twitter, Threads, 150 million signups in just the last few weeks. How are we any the wiser now as to just how much of a threat Threads poses to Twitter?
Look, I mean, there are a couple of sites that kind of track usage of social media platforms, and Twitter does appear by those metrics to have taken a hit since the arrival of Threads. But, there's a shiny new object, as it were. People are excited about it. The question is, does that continue? And I think that's going to be the key issue, certainly for Twitter going forward. Does that bleeding continue, or is it just kind of, a momentary thing, in which case it'll recover and be fine? You have to remember that Twitter is a very vibrant social media platform that is very hard and difficult to replicate. Threads, because of its inbuilt connection with Instagram and that audience, kind of gets off to a big start. And so people are seeing it as a potential real challenger.
It's not Threads that is breaking Twitter. It's Twitter that is breaking Twitter. It's Elon motherfucking Musk breaking Twitter. But what do I know? Like I said, I've only been right from the jump that this was going to be a gigantic fuck up and a failure. But of course, I was not alone. There were other equally dumb, stupid, not corporate understanding, woke socialists out there who was saying the same thing. So let's hear from a different side. Let's hear from a guy who is bold, who is brave, who is brilliant, Gary Vaynerchuk. Twitter as a product is dramatically better under Elon Musk, says Gary Vaynerchuk. For those of you who don't know who Gary V is, he is a classic grifter, con man, but for some reason he has been able to stay above board, unlike like the Tai Lopez's of the world, where he has mainstream recognition. He also owns like mainstream properties as well. But for the most part, he's like a big NFT guy. He's a big Sigma Grindset guy. Yeah, that's it. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Joining us now to discuss the state of the digital ad market is Gary Vaynerchuk, VaynerX chairman. I guess with that lead in, Gary, did you join Threads? Do you like it? Is your engagement gone down? Do you think Twitter needs an alternative, a kinder, gentler alternative?
Good morning, first of all. I joined Threads. I like Threads. I think competition is good.
Guys, the Patriots rose up. They finally put Gary Vaynerchuk in prison, okay? He's actually reporting. They won't tell you in the news, but he's actually reporting from his prison cell. He's in a Supermax facility. They had to sneak in this camera in someone's asshole so that Gary Vaynerchuk could join live.
I don't know if it's a kinder, gentler thing. I think all of these places start off very kind and gentle. When I was on Twitter in 2007 to 2010, it was the kindest, most aspirational, joyous place. These are not platforms that are creating these places to be less joyous. These are human beings. These are empty pipes. Threads is empty. Twitter is empty. We as humans are filling them. So,
wow. So beautiful, dude.
I didn't like the old Twitter. I don't want someone saying you can't see what's in this pipe, telling me that.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to let me see it, and then I'm a big boy. I can take it. Actually, I don't like what people say. I can't take it. But in general, I want to see what people are saying.
Well, you can. I mean, this is
the new Twitter. I couldn't on the old Twitter. I couldn't see anything about Wuhan and the origination.
Yeah, I want to know about Wuhan. China virus, dude. What the fuck? What is he saying?
I didn't see anything about that said something about. Huh? I could not. I couldn't see the Babylon Bee. I couldn't see.
You could follow.
My man said I couldn't see the Babylon Bee. He's like, how am I gonna get my fucking content? You know, how am I gonna get my good ass content in the form of Babylon Bee? Ay ay ay. These guys are such fucking freaks, man. Holy shit.
And these algorithms that people love to complain about, you have much more control over them than you think. You can click on anybody's.
I barely am able to I'm not on Threads because I'm not sure how I would do it. I've never been on Instagram, so it's my fault, maybe.
Joe, this is the big punchline, brother. We love to blame platforms and we hate to blame ourselves. When you said earlier, what's the answer to a kinder, better place? How about parenting? How about civility becoming a bigger part of our conversation? How about the people in public forums knowing how to handle someone seeing the world slightly different than them? This is not about apps and tools. This is about humanity and where it sits and where we are as a society.
Oh, geez, Gary. I mean, to hope for a higher standard is, you could be hoping for a while. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
By the way, that's fine. But then let's stop pointing fingers and let's start pointing thumbs, right? Like I can tell you right now, my Twitter and Threads experience is phenomenal because I choose to be practical and optimistic. I'm not delusional. I'm not in fairyland, but I choose to see the opportunities. I choose to be entrepreneurial. I choose to be on the offense. I choose to not dwell on stuff that I can't control. And I definitely have no interest in tearing down other people or other operations or CEOs or businesses to make myself feel better. There's two ways to build the biggest building in town. One, tear down everybody else's buildings. Two, just be good enough to build the biggest building. I choose the latter.
Dude, this is the problem. When you ask Gary Vaynerchuk to answer for anything, it still turns into, because he's like a con man, it still turns into him glazing himself up. It's just like pseudo-intellectual, supposedly inspiring nonsense. Like, it's just, yeah, it's exactly. This man is perma TikTok podcaster speak. The only other kind of permanent TikTok podcaster method of speaking that doesn't revolve around how everything is owned by BlackRock and Vanguard and it's all pedophiles. They're doing pedophilia through your stocks. if you own a piece of Vanguard, that means you also are technically, without realizing, supporting pedophilia through Vanguard and BlackRock. The Rothschilds. They're doing woke ESG. They're doing woke ESG, BlackRock and Vanguard.
Elon Musk bought Twitter. It's better now, or he's ruined it?
The product is dramatically better. He's innovated the product more in the first.
Explain how. That's like the whole point of this fucking video. Wait, God damn it. We got clickbaited. Listening to Gary V for like 5 minutes glaze himself up.
The reality of the product versus the reality of the conversation are two different things. Not to mention, I don't know how a single person that actually spends time on Twitter doesn't realize that the temperament is a heck of a lot more calm and chill than it was 3 years ago.
Gary V's like, bro, you don't understand. Twitter's so much better now that End Wokeness, the open white supremacist account End Wokeness is getting paid directly like $100,000 by Elon Musk. You don't understand. Like, I love seeing just unfettered, unrestricted transphobia and white supremacist racism on my timeline. It's so much better now that all the neo-Nazis have been unbanned and all the pedophiles have been unbanned.
Oh, and by the way, preview alert.
I love watching fight videos on my timeline, especially when the title is equal lefts and equal rights, equal opportunity. These hands are equal opportunity. And it's like a dude, just like a big dude beating the shit out of a tiny woman, you know? I love those videos. It's so much better now.
Chill next year because it's a presidential election year, and everybody who's watching this, 90% of them are going to be on tilt and emotions are going to run high, and that's the reality of how it works.
This is the reality of how it works. This is what it's about. This is what it's truly about. Just kissing your father, just giving a nice little smooch directly on the lips to your father. I don't know what kind of secondary impacts it has when you have like unrestricted hate speech on a massive platform that people use to communicate with one another. But what maybe it has a radicalizing component. It probably does. But I would say from my own personal perspective, it just like kind of sucks. It just made the platform really, really shitty. That's it. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sure it has a normalizing effect on a shitload of people, especially when it's like tied to Twitter Blue users getting elevated to the top of the pile, and they're always the dumbest and the most racist fucking idiots. Lamau, he's so mad he's not getting in on the payout, and frankly, he's right to be mad about it. Most, not all, of the handpicked Twitter accounts who were given big checks, not because of their ad revenue potential, but for being teachers' pets and becoming insufferable. They used to have accounts that interested me, but now it's just a 24-hour Twitter advertisement on their pages. If this is what you have to do to get paid for thousands of advertisements on your page, you can count me out. Catturd is so out on Twitter, it's not even funny. This guy was like the guy that Elon Musk wanted to tailor this entire website experience around. And now he's just fucking ripping into him on a daily basis. He's like, Elon, you suck. Sir, I believe we have officially lost Catturd. Honestly, I tried to figure out how I could get paid at first because of the size of my engagements and the years of work I've put in. But now that I see what's going on, I'm good. I was totally ignored by everyone I asked about this except one good person. That is something you can say, J Omegalol B2. A job? Really? Bro, you're posting fart jokes, and they're not even jokes half the time. You're just like revealing your fart fetish to an audience. Check out Catturd's pinned tweet. It's hilarious. A turd you can't flush. Signing all copies of my sci-fi novel, Rabbit Skin. 2 child prodigies travel to another planet and fight for the survival of the universe. I love when dudes on Twitter try to like use their Twitter fame, I guess, to launch other projects. It's almost always a spectacular failure. There are very few good examples of someone going from like, I wrote dumb shit on Twitter to like, I am now, doing something else. Like Chapo Trap House is one good example of like shit posters that basically built a sizable audience and a major player in the leftist commentary space. Cumtown, Drill, Rob Delaney, exactly. These are like some of the only people. And then obviously you have the comedy writers and whatnot. But overall, it is hilarious. Dudes who make insanely fucking lame jokes that are just like a manifestation of their hallucinations for the most part. They always like, whenever they try to like make a podcast, it's always a failure. And whenever they try to fucking make a Substack, it's almost always a fucking failure. Whenever they try to, make a YouTube, like They'll shit on YouTubers on a daily basis. They'll shit on streamers on a daily basis while simultaneously trying to launch a streaming career themselves. And I'm not going to lie, I love watching that shit. I love watching that shit. I'm like, oh, dude, what happened? I thought this job was really dumb and really easy to do. Why can't you fucking, are you a failure? Are you just a total failure? What's going on? Why can't you do this incredibly easy thing? I mean, a dude that eats his toenails got $100 million. Like, you can't do that?